Just checking the mic, making sure that it works. I'll wait for somebody to log on here before before I keep talking and then find out that this mic is not working. This is the first time I'm using the DJI mic with the iPhone, so I just want to test this out. So I'll probably just edit the beginning of this live. So if someone is rewatching it, they don't have to wait for this, but I'm waiting for someone to at least join to confirm that this microphone is working. If there's somebody on the live right now, can you guys just let me know, is the microphone working? If you guys can drop it in the chat, that would be amazing. It is working on YouTube? All right, perfect. So here we are, guys. Milton has entered. I shouldn't say has entered the building. That actually sounds terrible. But Milton is officially here. It's about 8:19 p.m. on the East Coast. As you know, just to give you guys another update, like I told you earlier, we are riding the storm out in our home out here in Lakewood Ranch. I got to tell you, so far we've lost power. We are running on a backup generator, which seems to be working flawlessly. Thanks for that. And we still have internet, which is actually quite surprising because a lot of people in our neighborhood that have a different internet service provider, I think they're on Spectrum. Spectrum no longer has internet access in our area. We are on Frontier, so it's a fiber line. It is working flawless right now still, surprisingly. I'm assuming that throughout the night, if the underground utilities ultimately start to flood, I assume that at some point we might lose internet as well. But here, I'm going to put a microphone closer here to a window. Just see, again, we are fully shuttered, so we can't see anything outside anyway. So if you guys have to see my ugly face, I mean, it's the best I could do. I mean, I could flip it and you could look at literally a Kevlar shutter on the outside, but I don't think that's as exciting as my ugly face. But here, let me stop talking. Listen to that wind, guys. The flapping that you're hearing is obviously just the shutter flapping against the window, but listen to this thing. I mean, this thing is now finally starting to work its way into the area. We did have some wind off and on this evening, but now we're starting to get some of those sustained winds out here. I gotta tell you, the one thing I do wanna say is I am totally blown away. And I say this after every single storm. But I am totally blown away at how these new homes and this new construction actually holds up. I mean, they do fairly well. I've been talking to some neighbors that unfortunately do not have shutters, so they weren't able to put shutters on, and they're riding it out without impact windows. And they said there's definitely, they could feel like the window, like, you know, flexing a little bit, but their home is still intact and everything is in great shape over there. But here, we'll leave the microphone here. I don't know if you guys hear that? I mean, it literally sounds like crazy out there right now. So like I said at the beginning of this video, we are running on backup power. Manatee County officially now has suspended all emergency services. So if you do have family members in Manatee County, just know that there is no 911 service until after the storm passes and it is safe for them to get out here. We are under extreme wind conditions right now. We just got that alert recently, up until about 9:45 this evening, and then everything should ultimately start to subside. It is a quick moving storm. So, you know, initially the storm was traveling at a much slower pace. but it seems to be moving really, really quick, which, I mean, is it gonna have to create damage? Absolutely, but if we can get this storm in and out of here, the quicker, the better it'll be, and the more, the less the impacts are, because obviously you have less amount of time of just, property or whatever, just taking a beating from the wind. Other things also for, and again, this whole video is really designed to just check in on my family members up north. But, if you're watching this video and we're not related, just keep us in your thoughts. What else? So the county itself, from what I'm hearing, internet access is out to most people on Spectrum. So if for any reason you do have family members in Manatee County and they're not, listen to the wind, by the way, and you are not able to get a hold of them, chances are that they no longer have internet service. I am hearing from people that Frontier seems to be the only internet service that's currently working, but there are areas that obviously do not, even Frontier service is down. Clearly, also, if you're trying to get a hold of a relative and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get a hold of them, what's happening? Well, you got to remember, too, that cell phone service right now, like I am literally on one bar. I tried to go online. I tried to make a call earlier. It doesn't work that well, so there's that. Also, depending on the area, I mean, these winds will take down cell phone towers and signal repeaters. So that obviously will hinder communication. So, if you're from out of town and you have a family member down here and you can't get a hold of them, trust me, do not panic. As long as they sheltered in place, they will be okay. What else did I want to say? There was a couple things that I wanted to give you guys an update on. Like I said already, power. Because most of the county is also now out of power. Keep in mind that even if you had working internet, those internet, devices such as your router, etc., they still require power. So, I'm just giving you guys reasons. If you're from out of town and and you have people down here, like, don't panic. Communication right now is starting to become a challenge in the area. I'm kind of a geek when it comes to like prepping, so I wanted to make sure that when we moved into our home, we had like all the little things that I know were needed in order for us to kind of just, and I'm not bragging, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm bragging, but these storms are super, super stressful, right? So anything that you can do to make sure that your home is prepared to weather these storms with minimal disruption to like your everyday life, because these things are as stressful as it is, it's a bonus. So I talked to some people earlier and they were like, oh my gosh, well, you sound like so relaxed. Like, what's going on? I would be freaking out and panicking. Well, you know what? It really all comes down to, honestly, just the environment that, preparing, making sure you have the right things in place. Always make sure you have, obviously, a strategy just in case things get a little crazy. And, you can ride these things out. I'm not going to say with no stress. As you can hear it in my voice, I'm probably repeating myself multiple times here, but it is a stressful situation, so you want to try to make it seem as less stressful as possible. So you guys hear the wind now. I'm going to go ahead and walk to the other side of the house. Now, again, I said this on the previous live. Our house is a train wreck because we have a lot of things from outside currently scattered throughout the house. We also brought some stuff. It's funny, my wife's cousin lives in Parrish. So, also in Manatee County, they just messaged me they have no power, but they're sitting in a closet playing Uno. So, sometimes you got to just make something out of a super shitty situation. So, but here, I'm going to walk on over to the living room. Again, do not judge us by this mess. My wife will kill me even for going live with all these things here. But we got Reed Timmer on the TV. Ava's down here on her laptop and on her cell phone. Look at the flooding in Sarasota. Actually, he's in Venice. So again, the storm is now entering our area. He's in Venice Beach. Is that where he is?
Yeah.
You guys can see it. So we're actually watching Reed Timmer right now online, and
He, the storm surge is like,
yeah.
like it was about 2 feet, looks like.
So
maybe.
my wife is saying from what she saw, it looks like the storm surge so far is about 2 feet
Where he's at, yeah.
where he's at in Venice. Again, this thing is now entering our area, so a lot can change. We got Mr. Max over here. This guy now, Max, look at me. This guy is a trooper, by the way. He's no longer afraid of the wind. He's a little ticked off because, you know, his bathroom schedule is all out of whack, but he's been a trooper. Brooks over here doing paint by numbers. Say hi to everybody on YouTube. But yeah, as you guys can see, I mean, we're kind of just riding this thing out and just doing things as normal. Flo Marco, glad, as your father, I am super happy to hear that you did not lose power. Real quick, I got to show you guys this. So one of the things that we did also, just in case, because you never know with, you know, all the tornadoes and all the warnings that the other side of the state is getting, you always want to make sure you have a little place here. Man, it sounds like somebody's knocking at the door. I think Milton just knocked on the door. Did you hear it?
Yeah, no, don't answer it.
I'm not answering that. Milton, you stay outside. But, you know, we got a little room here just in case things get a little crazy. We can always come in here. This is like a super strong room here. This is actually our little like storm shelter. So it's a quiet room. You can go in here, close the door. You won't even hear any wind. Yeah, great place to also put people on timeout. But again, it seems like the winds are coming and going, so nothing yet in terms of sustained winds. Just wanted to check. Sometimes we get a lot of water by our door, but all is good. Mark, back to your power. We lost power twice, so we've had the generator kicked on twice, and we're like, all right, cool. And then now I think we've been officially without power for how long? Like 2 hours? What'd you say?
No.
An hour?
No.
We've been without power for at least an hour, right?
On
On the generator, yeah. Maybe an hour?
I would say like 45 minutes.
45 minutes? So we've been without actual power for 45 minutes, but I'm glad to hear that you guys have power in Port Charlotte. Mark, do you know if there's a way that I can bring you into the live? Look at how messy our house is. My God. Like, people on YouTube are probably going to think like we're like messy people. We are in Florida. So we are in the U.S. Where is Mark here? Mark, is there a way to add you onto this? I don't think there is. Here, I'll flip this back. But anyway, again, just wanted to give you all an update. I know we're still getting a ton of people concerned. Oh, hey, Florf. So you're from Sudan? Oh, so let me explain what the stream is about. So we are currently right now in the middle of a major hurricane in the area. So here, since you're just logging in, I was just giving people an update, letting everybody know how well, how we're doing, because we've been having a lot of people concerned. So normally this stream and our channel, it's more about going out boating and exploring and etc. So does that happen a lot in America? No, it happens a lot in Florida. So Florida's a peninsula. So, as you would imagine, we are, on one side of Florida, you have the Atlantic Ocean. The other side, you have the Gulf of Mexico. Those waters ultimately get extremely hot, right, in the summer months, which we call our hurricane season. Just to tell you how warm the water gets, you could literally, in the month of August, go to the beach, and it is not uncommon that the water temperature at the beach is like in the 90s. And when I say in the 90s, I'm not talking about like 90 degrees, but like 93, 94 degrees. I think at one point, we were even like close to 100 degrees, the water temperature out in the Gulf. So what happens is now we're coming towards the end of hurricane season, but it's also the strongest because the water temperatures are essentially at their peak. So like this particular storm that we are in, right? Like this time a week ago, we had no idea that this hurricane was even going to be headed our direction. And within a matter of like a couple of days, it went from an unnamed storm to a named storm. From there, it went to a Cat 1, Cat 2, went all the way to a Cat 5, where the winds were 180 miles an hour plus. Now, what's also happening down here is that it's starting to cool down in the northern states, right? In Florida, it's hot all year round, or warm all year round. The northern states, it snows there. So what happens is, you know, the cold basically was able to break this storm, the shear, break the storm apart. So by the time it hit inland, it was only a Category 3, which is what we're dealing now. So we're talking about winds still of upwards of 120 miles per hour. So, but it doesn't happen a lot in America. What happens a lot in America, unfortunately, is tornadoes. Like a lot of the Midwestern states and everything else, they deal with some massive tornadoes. So I would rather not talk politics on this platform. YouTube is super, super like strict, unfortunately. I'm trying to navigate in the side of caution, right? YouTube is like super, super strict on things. What I always tell people is, you know, how was the world whispered in the microphone? I can't. You know, what I will tell people is, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, when it comes to like election time and things like that, you gotta take a look at the world around you. You gotta take a look at your pocket, and you gotta make a decision that's obviously going to deliver what you perceive, right, as a better world, and also what is what is economically better for you. No, actually, I'm not. So you'll be surprised. I don't have a political affiliation. I don't, you know, pick a side. I ultimately make my voting decisions every 4 years based on what I know will be best for my family. So that's kind of how I roll. Ups for the router. Okay, Carl, when you were telling me that earlier, I was like, what the heck is UPS? I was reading it as UPS, but now I see it's ups. So send me that information if you have it, Carl. I want to definitely make sure that I order that thing for the router, because dude, it's annoying, because especially like at the beginning of the storms, when you start to lose power, then it comes back, it knocks down our router, and it literally takes like a few minutes to reboot. So if I could keep the router going, then I don't have to worry about losing it. And it's a pain in the ass, because obviously, you know, like that runs our security system, our cameras, and everything else. Oh, so you sent me a link on Facebook? Awesome. Here, let me show you guys. Got to hear this wind. I mean, it sounds pretty crazy out there. But all in all, everything is all good. I do have a lot of friends from your area, floor 619. So, but yeah, Carl, all is good. We are all safe down here, man. Just trying to make the best out of a super crappy situation. Let's see. I want to go through some of these questions here. Billy, I already answered you. Billy, thank you. I don't know if I already acknowledged your message here. Got great time to go fly a kite. Yes, I'm going to go outside right now, and I'm going to go fly a kite pretty soon. Wonder how far it'll go. I don't think a kite will necessarily make it too far, Carl. I bet you if you were able to go outside right now and fly a kite, I get the feeling that kite will be destroyed before it even like goes anywhere. Because the wind just comes from all sorts of different directions, so it's impossible to fly a kite. Same thing with the drone. What's that? You guys feel the ear pressure?
I do, it does.
Me too. It's weird, like all of the sudden right now, there's so much pressure, like you could feel it in your ears. from this storm. So pretty wild. Let's see if there's anybody else. All right, there is nobody else on the chat. Well, listen, I am going to go ahead and I am going to jump off of this live. I got to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten dinner. Honestly, I haven't eaten anything, I think, since breakfast. So I'll try to give you guys an update at a later time here. Like I said, please continue to keep Florida in your prayers. It's definitely a bad situation down here, but you know what? We'll all come together and we will succeed. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Carl. Thank you, everybody.